Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Primetime Gaming. I'm your host, MrBooMStickXL, and not only are the topics absolutely amazing, we have some breaking news, PlayStation regarding. Our special guest is a community icon that just surpassed 70,000 subscribers to his outstanding YouTube channel, and of course, the regular cast of amazing panel members. So without further ado, let's get into the introduction so we can break down all of these amazing topics. Let's start with our special guest. He's a diehard gamer who's an Xbox enthusiast first and foremost. His technical skills and a video producer that is absolutely uncanny. There's a reason why his channel is almost, and should be very soon, hitting the 100,000 subscribers. He's an outstanding artist that's even grabbed the eye of Aaron Greenberg himself and is known on these Twitter streets as the guy that says, enjoy gaming, and remember, be nice. Please welcome Colt Eastwood.
Thank you. That's a nice intro. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show. This is actually the first time, like we were saying pregame, I got a chance to work with Colt numerous times on RDX. Got a chance to meet him at E3 2019, which was amazing. We actually sat right next to each other during the Microsoft briefing. Got a chance to meet his lovely wife, who's his family is awesome. And it's really an honor to have you on. First of all, I want to say, and I think everybody on the panel and in the chat want to congratulate you, 70,000 subscribers. Colt, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. About 2.5 years ago, I think I was at 1,000 because of like 2 successful videos, I think. Yeah, it's really been absolutely crazy. And it's been a life changer, actually. And I am really, really grateful. And I just want people to see the stuff I'm doing. Like I pour into the videos and I want people to watch them. I want them to enjoy them. So I'm glad that people are enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, you know what? You have a good eye for when you put these videos together. But more importantly, you're a really good dude. And I think that the gaming community certainly needs more people like yourself and everybody on this panel, a lot of people in this chat that are coming to hang out, that preach positivity. You know, it's real easy to get into the negativity of gaming, but you always find a way to shine the light, and I think that's what makes you certainly much different and certainly likable within the millions of content creators that are out there, because obviously YouTube is vast, but you're definitely one of the standouts. And once again, Colt, thank you so much for being here. Let me continue with the outstanding panel. Next, we have a gamer whose undying skills in Destiny have no match. As a matter of fact, they have no limit. He's our inside man to everything GameStop. He's an incredible father, husband, and one heck of a community member, creator of the amazing Gaming Forte YouTube channel, and an integral part of the Basement Radio Arcade podcast. Please welcome to the show once again, Guardian Forte.
Don't get enough of that. That's what I'm talking about. I need somebody to just give me that intro every time I just walk into a room, because I would feel awesome and amazing, because that's what Boom does for everybody that comes on this show. Shout out to Colt for being here, man. I remember 2018 in April, I was actually looking through my DMs. I was having a back and forth discussion about YouTube with him. And at that moment, Colt was only at about 27,000 subscribers. And I remember saying on the show last week, right when we got off the air, I said, hey, let's retweet him. Let's get him above that 70K so we can congratulate him on the show next week.
You did say that. Yes, you did.
This week is here, brother. So congratulations on the big 7-0. I am super proud of you, man. Nobody deserves it any better than you did. So thanks for coming on the show with us too, as usual.
Thank you.
Well, listen, it's, again, great to have Colt. Certainly great to have Gaming Forte. And I want to move on to our next panel member. Now, you know him as the Italian Gamer. Not only that, he's one of the nicest and most skilled pirate legends On the high seas, I should say, he's the creator of the outstanding Four Guys with Quarters podcast. He's been gaming since the days of Pac-Man. He is a community leader who helps everyone who needs it for no reason other than it's the right thing to do, and a diehard gamer who I consider a brother. Please welcome the Italian Clowns.
Hey, Boom. Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me. That is an awesome intro. That is like the best one that I've ever received. I got to record that, bro.
Well, listen, you're going to get it every week, my brother. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
And listen, next we have a gaming hero who has been patiently waiting for a new Batman game so he could once again save the fine citizens of Gotham City. A newcomer to the podcast game with the skills of a 20-year veteran, an Xbox enthusiast who bleeds green when you cut him, and the creator of the very amazing Mixer channel. Please welcome CyberKnox.
Hey, what's going on, Boom? Thank you for that intro, Chad. What's up, Piano? It's a pleasure to be here with Cole, talking games with Cole. I've been listening to this guy for a long time now. And yeah, I'm feeling all kinds of emotions this Monday evening. Some breaking news that's got me shocked. And I can't wait to talk games with you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting because we do have breaking news that was brought to my attention, thankfully, by Clowns, because, sometimes you just don't, when you're preparing for the show, you don't check social media. And, of course, Clowns certainly helped me out with that. But last, and in, of course, no way least, like I say each and every week, we have a Monster Hunter legend who says it's an MMO life for him, a gamer who will save the universe from the clutches of the profound darkness when Phantasy Star Online 2 releases next year. An Apex Legend assassin on the level of Agent 47, and an Overwatch player who understands that there is no I in team. Please welcome Tempestsun.
Boom, you keep getting better and better and better, and I love it. I really do. And it's not often you get an actual real life megaton of news before you go live. I'm talking like 10 minutes before the show started, so we got one heck of a topic to start this thing off, so let's get into it.
Yes, you know what? And before we actually get into the breaking news and the topics that are on tap for today's show, I want to thank all of the amazing community questions that came in today. And unfortunately, you can only pick one, but I am going to say that there were so many good ones today that what I'm going to do is I've been backlogging them. And each week as we go forward, you'll see that if you sent in a question today, more than likely it's going to be used. It's going to be, used in the next one of the upcoming episodes because they were really good. But the winner, and unfortunately, I don't have a prize to give, but the question that I took came from Graphic Junkie of Twitter, who asked a very awesome question. And I'll go right to Colt after I read it. What 1 to 2 canceled games would you like to see resurrected? Now, he says he would love to see them bring back Star Wars 1313 and Prey 2, which those are really good picks. Colt Eastwood, I want to go to you. What 1 to 2 canceled games would you want to see resurrected?
Crud, I'm trying to think of what's been canceled that I really, really liked. Yeah, that Star Wars game looked really cool, but I was just one of those guys that was never interested in Scalebound.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah.
I always thought it wasn't my type of game. Gosh, I don't even know what else was canceled. There's been so many games that's just been delayed for a long, 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 long time. So I'd go with the Star Wars game.
Okay, I mean that's definitely a good point. The one that comes to mind for me personally is the Amy Hennig Star Wars game that was being played out like Uncharted with Star Wars. I mean, we didn't get even a title. That would be my pick. And for the second pick from me, it would have been Rainbow Six The Patriots, because that was going to be a big-time single-player Rainbow Six games. Unfortunately, we have Siege, which is multiplayer. It's just not my thing. But I want to go to Clowns first on this, Clowns. What one or two canceled games would you like to see resurrected?
Well, you just took the words out of my mouth. That Rainbow Six Patriots look really cool.
Yeah.
And the fact, I mean, like, from what they told us, you could go in the houses and the buildings. I mean, the concept was so neat. It's a shame it got canceled. So that would be my choice right there.
Okay, that's a good one. Cybernox, I want to go to you, dude, because we've had a ton of cancellations over the last couple of years, and I thought this was a really solid question. What 1 to 2 canceled games would you like to see resurrected?
I'm in the same boat as you, Boom. I love the Ghost Recon series. So when they announced Ghost Recon's Patriot back in 2011,
You mean Rainbow Six?
Oh, I'm sorry, Rainbow Six. Yeah, Rainbow Six. I love that kind of genre. The Rainbow Six Patriots. I thought it looked amazing. The concept of it was really good. But I think they're kind of doing that now with Ghost Recon's Breakpoint. That's why I had Ghost Recon in my mind.
I mean, it definitely seems that like they're going that route.
Another game that hopefully we will get, because there seems to be resurrecting, is The Wolf Among Us. I know The Wolf Among Us never got a continuation, but now with everything that happened with Telltale Games, we thought it was done for sure, but now it looks like we're gonna, it's gonna come back and we're gonna get a second part. We're gonna get a sequel to it, so I got a sequel to finish that story because that game was amazing. But yeah, those will be my two. But that Star Wars game, Star Wars 1313, I believe, too. That was a great game.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. I mean, we actually got a chance to see gameplay of it, and it did look amazing. Nautical Gaming, I want to go to you, brother. Because obviously you work in GameStop, so you get a chance to sometimes, you see the pre-orders go live, and then something gets canceled, and people have to have their money returned and put on something else. And in the course of working for GameStop, what 1 to 2 games have you seen or you come across you were like, wow, I really don't want that game, and then it gets canceled? What would you like to see resurrected that's been canceled? Oh, I think he's on mute. Okay, we'll come back to him.
I was on mute. Yeah,
okay.
My fault. Yeah, the games you guys named are really good. Like Rainbow Six Patriot. I was actually, because when you put this up, I was thinking like, man, Rainbow Six. But then you guys started saying, and I was like, I got to have a backup because someone else is probably going to say it first. But this goes back to when I was a huge Blizzard fan, like really huge Blizzard fan. And there was a game that was called StarCraft Ghost.
Oh yes, with the female lead character. Yes, it looked amazing.
With Kerrigan before she became Kerrigan of the Swarm and stuff. And it was like on the level of Perfect Dark style gameplay, but more espionage and stuff. I was super into that. Then they canceled it, and I was like, oh my god, that was probably gonna be amazing. And then in the same breath, the game Titan that they were producing that ended up turning into Overwatch, where it was going to be a massive multiplayer online type game.
Good choice.
Huge for them. That game sounded like it was going to be so epic, and we ended up getting Overwatch from it, so I can't be mad. But I really want them to dive deeper back into that, because the one thing that Blizzard always did get right was World of Warcraft, so I know that's their wheelhouse. And if they can bring a more futuristic version of that game to the gaming sphere, that's what I would love. It would have been like a more complete version of a Destiny type game if they would have actually pulled it off. So hopefully they go back and do something with that. But honestly, the biggest one is that StarCraft Ghost for me. I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah, wow, that's really taking it back, man. That was going to be really good. I totally forgot all about that. And closing out this awesome community question, I'll go to Tempestsun. What 1 to 2 canceled games would you like to see resurrected?
I'm actually right there with Forte. I remember back in the day, and this is a long time ago, I think it was original Xbox and PC. I think those were at least 2 of the ones that were supposed to get the game, I believe. The StarCraft Ghost. She was a sniper unit in the actual StarCraft game, and that was my favorite unit. That was the one where you could lock onto an area and send down the nukes and everything. So I just remember as a wee young little lad looking forward to that, and just not understanding how things work. Just when I found out it was just no longer a thing, I was devastated because it looked really cool. It looked really good. That one, and you know what? If you couldn't tell by Boom's intro, I love Japanese-inspired games. The the culture, anime, all that stuff. If it were to be revived with a team that actually really cared about it, if you really think about Scalebound on paper, it would have been a really cool game.
I
it was
agree.
getting the love and attention. I mean, on paper, it's really cool. Yeah, it's like an RPG, open world. You get better loot as you go along, and you have a pet dragon. I don't mean like a little dragon. I mean, this thing was like, humongous, and you can customize him to be any type of dragon. There was a multiplayer component to it. And you know what? It's a shame, too, because Platinum Games can make some phenomenal games. They really can. And the fact that they just kind of screwed around with the money they were given and they didn't take it seriously is pretty disappointing. But you know what? I think Microsoft has the assets. They own the IP, as far as I understand. So maybe they'll give it to somebody who gives a crap. So who knows? Might get that wish someday. We'll see.
The last thing you remember about that game was that horrible E3 demo that they
it was running at 20 frames per second. It was bad.
Jeez. Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, those are my two. So.
Well, you know what? Obviously, this was an amazing community question. I'm very happy there were so many, people that sent in questions. Like I said, unfortunately, I had to pick one. I thought this was the best that we got for this evening. But if you did send a question in, rest assured, I'm going to work it into future shows because some of the questions I received today were amazing. But I want to open up the show with a story that was brought to us by Seasoned Gaming, a pair of amazing community members that I got a chance to meet at E3, right along with Cole Eastwood and so many of the community members. I think that when you look at these big events, if I were to put one thing that was so exciting about E3 besides the event itself, it was meeting the community, getting a chance to actually rub elbows with the people that you've podcasted with or you've talked on Twitter or you've been on the people's shows. It was amazing. But, obviously Call of Duty Modern Warfare releases in 26 days. And apparently, they broke a story about the backlash of the exclusive mode that the fans are really pissed about. And I got to be honest with you. I don't play Call of Duty online. I don't. Will I dabble with it? Yeah, a little bit. But for the most part, I'm always in it for the single player, which is why I didn't buy Black Ops 4. But it seems as if Infinity Ward knew in advance that the backlash over the Spec Ops mode would not go over well with the fans outside of the PlayStation 4, and they're starting to now respond to the fan criticism in publicly, which actually was a little surprising. Now, in case you missed it, it was confirmed that the survival setting within Modern Warfare's Spec Op mode would be exclusive to the PlayStation 4, not for 30 days, not for 60 days, not even for 90 days, but until October of 2020. And this reminds me of the Destiny fiasco that we had with Destiny 1 with, hey, listen, you want to do something cosmetic and give a PlayStation scarf to your Guardian? Okay, but when you start taking out guns, when you start taking out ships, when you start taking out missions, I got to be honest with you, I have a little bit of a problem with that. And unfortunately, as we all now know, all Xbox One and PC players will not be able to get the Horde-like mode until then. Now, I've been gaming a long-ass time, and I have to say that regardless of how small this mode is, it's still wrong. Now, Infinity Ward has responded by saying that it's an incredibly small sliver of the overall game, but fans have continued to be very vocal about their disappointment with threads on Call of Duty forums and, of course, on the very vocal Reddit. And this is exactly how the studio narrative director has taken to Twitter to provide some insight to why they chose this, to do this deal. It says, "I respect your decision. We do our best every day to give our players the best experience possible. There are decisions that are above all of our pay grades that have to be considered. I understand your feeling, but this is much better than the others I've seen. Now, he's talking about, about fan responses. And he continued with, let's be honest. People saying that it's ruining the experience is an exaggeration. Survival is 1% of the game, and the other 99% is day and date across all platforms. I'd rather have everyone playing 99% of the content at the same time than 100% of the content sometime later. Now, Colt, I want to go to you because you're very vocal when it comes to these deals. And there are a lot of folks in the know who look forward to Call of Duty that are on the Xbox, that are on the on the PC, that are up in arms. As a matter of fact, there has been story after story after story in the last 2 days of how many cancellations there have been in regards to pre-orders because of this. What are your takes on this exclusive mode, but more specifically for an entire year?
Did he really say it was 99% of the content available?
Yes.
Bullcrap.
That just doesn't sound nearly even close to authentic. Like, if anything, it's 10 or 20% of the content. I mean, how many modes are in Call of Duty Modern Warfare?
Exactly. Yes.
5, 6. Like, I mean, you could. I mean, I guess you could say that if you play this content, you're only going to play it for 8 minutes, and you're going to play the campaign for 6 hours, and you're going to play multiplayer for 100 or 200 hours throughout the year. Then it would be 1% of the content, but that's not being very genuine with the customers.
Yeah.
No, I'm not very outspoken about these things. Actually, I don't talk about things that don't affect me as much. Call of Duty. I haven't really played Call of Duty. I played World War II's campaign in 2017, and that was about it for the past few years. But I'll say something kind of controversial. If you want the full package, you got to buy it on PlayStation. And the reason is PlayStation's exclusives are what draw them to the platform. And since all they have for 2019 is Days Gone at the very beginning of the year and then Death Stranding in November, they needed something a little extra, and they paid a little extra for some content. But like you said, it's usually a map, or it's usually some, alligator skin boots and a saddle for Red Dead 2. But here, it's an entire mode. And I was just talking to my buddy about this today, and he said, it's a whole mode. They took out a whole mode. I'm not about to pay $60. That's not right. And I said, well, what are they supposed to do? Say, hey, Xbox and PC guys, the game is going to be $55 or $50. There's no way. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of in line with what Sony does. They've been doing these faux exclusivity deals like all generation with Battlefront, Destiny. Xbox did it with Call of Duty a lot more last generation. So it's pretty crappy, actually.
I mean, look, I'll put it to this way. And I'm not throwing my age in anyone's face. Trust me, it's nothing great about being 49. It's just that I'm older. But I've been gaming a very long time, and marketing deals are what keep the wheels turning in the gaming business. And I think at the end of the day, we all sometimes, a lot of us forget that it is a business, but there's right and there's wrong. And I understand exclusive, maps for 30 days, 60 days, but when you're starting to now take out actual modes from a game, one of the biggest games to release in 2019, that's a big problem. But Colt, I want to stay with you for a second, because there's been talk that during the beta, there were, of course, the mine diggers that found the word loot boxes, that apparently a few sites are breaking news today that apparently these loot crates or boxes will be coming after the initial launch, and some are even implying that these loot boxes that you have to spend real world money on are going to contain game-changing weapons. And I think, that's what we're hearing. And if that's in fact the truth, what are your thoughts on how this could possibly and potentially ruin Call of Duty 2019?
Well, I mean, crap, it's Activision. Microtransactions. This is the perfect word for it. Microtransactions are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. They're lucrative.
Yes.
They're profitable. And I know we want to blame Activision. We want to blame Ubisoft. We want to blame the Coalition. We want to blame all of these studios that put microtransactions in their games. But I'm going to say another thing controversial. I'm going to put a lot of the blame on the people who spend a lot of money on microtransactions. If people didn't like them, if people refused to pay for them, if they didn't feel like they're worth their money, they wouldn't be such a massive revenue stream for these studios. They put them in their games because they know it's bonus money that is pouring in. It's the reason why Grand Theft Auto 5 has no single-player DLC. It's the reason why Red Dead Redemption 2 has no single-player DLC. And it's all online, and it's all driven by microtransactions because people love them. And the problem is that we're in this tight-knit hardcore community. And there are a few outliers in our community that like to buy microtransactions. I've had some fun with those people on Twitter. And but the problem is that there's this massive group of gamers outside of the hardcore that love to say, I don't want to grind for that car. I'll just buy it and unlock it. I want that gun. It's only $3. The game, the game is $60. I've been playing it for 40 hours. I love it. I want to support the team that made it. That gun is only $2.99. That comes right off my debit card. It's no problem. That's what the problem with microtransactions is. And we can sit here all day and blame Activision, but it's the Pavlov's dog. The bell's ringing, and they're just keeping it going.
Yeah, so it's basically they're going based on the numbers, is what you're saying. If the people are buying, then they're going to be quick to sell.
Yeah, and everyone's, I have this problem. I tell people I don't have a problem with microtransactions because they don't affect me. As a gamer, I play a lot of single-player games. I play a lot of co-op games. And everything I've played, I've never had microtransactions hinder my ability to enjoy a game. And I've never spent a dime on them because I am way too cheap. Now, that's my problem. That's my problem. People can say, how can you not stand up against microtransactions? I'm like, all I can say is I'm sorry. They don't affect me. I'm not going to sign the petition. But the problem really lies with people love to buy them. And there's the pay-to-win thing or there's a cosmetic thing. The pay-to-win thing is awful, but it's also kind of rare. So if you're saying that Activision is doing
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, because I'm
gonna say the only problem in this instance is that whoever started leaking all this information, they found that there were guns that were also
the Gaming Revolution is the one that started as one of the on Twitter. Now the guy
specifically stated the guns were also locked behind loot crates.
Yes,
and and everything else. So now that's an issue. That's an issue.
Now, just so you know who the Gaming Revolution is, he currently has 260,000 subscribers on YouTube, and apparently he has been known to have broken some real legitimate Call of Duty news in the past, and he does have people, according to some of his recent tweets, that gave him this new breaking information. So I put it to this way: in a game that launches in only 26 days, this is, I mean, besides all the controversy with the violence that it's in there, which doesn't bother me because obviously it's a war game and war is violent, so that doesn't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. It's everything else afterwards, and Activision just being Activision. But Cybernox, being that you jumped in, I want to go right to you with this. On 2 points. First of all, what are your thoughts on this entire mode being locked for a year behind an exclusive deal with Sony and Activision? And what are your thoughts on the possibility? Again, folks, I'm not, saying that the loot crates are going to contain guns. I'm only reporting on what I've read. So right now, until it happens, take it with a grain of salt, but like Colt said, it is Activision, right? So what are your thoughts on the potential of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 19 becoming a pay-to-win scenario?
Oh man, I said this once here before and I'll say it again. I wish I had more hands so I can give this news 4 thumbs down. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. What is Activision doing? They were getting so much good press with this new Modern Warfare that this was not needed, in my opinion. Like, listen, I understand back in the 360 days, Xbox did the same thing, right? They used to lock maps for 30 days. So I don't mind the deal that they made. I mind the time of the exclusivity, right? It's 1 year. In 1 year, Modern Warfare most likely won't be as relevant as it is right now. Black Ops 4, everybody was freaking talking about it for the Blackout to come out, and guess what happened? Nobody's playing that game now anyways as they were before.
Right.
You know, Call of Duty is a yearly franchise, and for somebody to take a mode from somebody else, and this is not affecting just Xbox owners now, it's affecting PC guys as well. So now everybody's chiming in. And I think to the snowball effect was when Gaming Revolution came out with this other news about the loot crates, that, you know, there was so much, there was going to be many skins tied into these, and not just the skins, there was going to be guns that were going to be tied up to the loot crates as well. So just to add fuel to the fire about this in one mode, and now you hear about loot crates. I mean, they did not need to do this. That's what I don't understand. Everybody was extremely hyped for this game that's coming out in just a little under a month, and what made matters worse is that they didn't tell people until they saw their pre-orders. You know,
yes,
they saw all the pre-order signs, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, and by the way, there's one mode here that's not gonna get, you know, that everybody's gonna get." But on the business aspect of it, I don't mind. I understand, you know, companies do these kinds of business all the time. Xbox did it on the 360 days, so I can't be hypocritical and say, "Oh no, this is not good." This is
30
whatever.
days though on an exclusive
So
map
30
is
days
certainly
to a
a small nugget compared to 12 months.
100%. I'm with Cole on this. I'm not someone to actually throw money in microtransactions. I'm a big FIFA player, so in the beginning, I did buy a couple of FIFA packs, you know, some FIFA coins, so I can buy some packs. But that was it for me. And then I don't mind microtransactions because games nowadays are, you know, extremely big. They're extremely in scale wise, they're very large. So I don't mind skins, non-breaking microtransactions. But when it starts affecting the game, that's when it becomes an issue. But yeah, man, Activision. We talked about it, I believe, on last week's shows. We'll wait and see until what Activision does, and guess what? They didn't disappoint. They do what they do best, and that's, you know, hide behind they want that money, they want that cash money, so it is what it is. I guess
you know what, for Gaming Forte, I have a question. First of all, I have to thank Gotham Guy with the outstanding and very generous $5 super chat. He asks a question. I would like you to answer it because you are in the business. You are inside man when it comes to the gaming business side. He asks, who, in your guys' opinions, is the true villain here? Is it Activision for taking the deal for the exclusive mode, or is it Sony for offering the money for exclusives? Great question.
Okay, so I'll answer that question first. And it kind of falls into my thought process on why this deal happened the way it happened. I really can't say anybody is the villain in this regard just because of why I think this deal happened overall. First of all, we got to go back and think about what Call of Duty actually is this year. It's the first year that this game has been fully cross-play and fully cross-save. Now think about the console that has this exclusive on it.
Mm-hmm.
The PlayStation console. Think about how long it took Fortnite just to get cross-play and cross-save across all their systems, almost an entire year. Think about Destiny 2 all the way up until the 9th hour or the 11th hour of when they announced that they were doing cross-save, that they had to go back to the table with Sony to get them to acquiesce to actually doing it, or they were going to be left out of it. Think about that. We're talking about the same company that didn't want to do it on those titles. So what do you think Activision had to do to get them to want to make that game cross-play, cross-save across everything? I don't think Sony paid a damn dime for this thing. Activision gave this to them. They were like,
that sounds.
Activision gave this. This was like the olive branch. They was like, you know what? We're not doing any exclusive, no exclusive maps or anything, but we're gonna give this game mode to you because this is something we can say that's only for you if you allow cross-play, cross-save across all platforms.
That is a great point.
And that is the ultimate reason this happened. And people think that this, now what, I don't think he's disingenuous when he said it's 1% of the game. Some people think that the game mode is the whole entire game mode of Spec Ops. It really isn't. Spec Ops is a big game mode with a bunch of different game modes inside of it. Now, it is still a substantial part of it because we don't know how many game modes are in Spec Ops itself, but the survival mode itself is just one core part of Spec Ops itself. There's still the team aspect with the two players like it was in the original one, and there's extra entities added on top of it. So depending on how big Spec Ops itself is, that's when we'll know truly how much this is actually being taken out of it. So, but we won't know that until the game comes out. But that's the overall reason this truly happened. You got to think about the company that's involved with it and Activision wanting this to be a thing for the first Call of Duty and making it cross-play everything. And they had to give Sony this because if they didn't,
they
Sony
wouldn't get the cross-play.
It wouldn't have cross-play. And so that's why I don't think there's really a bad person in this. So if you want to say Sony's the bad guy, you can say it because overall they're the market leader. They're the ones that got the biggest player base and they want to acquiesce to the bigger players base because they're the ones that's going to field and fund all the gamers all around it. Xbox and PC is just going to fill in the blanks around PlayStation. So they need PlayStation to be a part of that. So that's why we got this. Now when it comes to the deal, when it comes to the DLC and the loot boxes, that's disgusting. But guess what? The last 3 Call of Duties have had it. Black Ops 3 had guns that there were incremental upgrades to the guns you already got in the game that you can get through loot boxes that gave you better stats on those weapons. Modern Call of Duty World War II had attachments in there. They had grips and stuff that made guns shoot better and stuff that you get in those packages. It seems like we go through this every year with Call of Duty, and like I said, it's not that it's wrong. It's definitely wrong, but like Colt said, we're barking up the wrong tree. It's the people that go out and spend the money on this stuff consistently that makes this a thing. And I can't be mad at them for doing something that they always done over the course of the last 4 Call of Duties. This is nothing new. Just the fact that it's got people are upset because of the game mode. And then when you throw a grenade on it, like microtransactions and loot boxes, it turns into an even bigger thing. Yeah. So that's the reason that this is such a big overall, fiasco. But the one thing I will say that sucks about this is the 1-year exclusivity. That sucks like hell because by the time everybody's able to play this,
no one's gonna care.
The next Call of Duty is going to be out. That was basically the thing with Destiny. 1 whole year went by. That content became irrelevant at that point.
Yep.
Why do I care? Now you're making basically a whole game mode irrelevant. I understand why it happened and why it had to happen, but that's the one thing in this whole deal that sucks. But I think this deal had to be made for it to make it into cross-play and cross-save.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, let's say if this deal didn't go through, let's kind of what you're saying. They're exchanging, okay, you're going to allow crossplay, we're going to give you this mode. But if they didn't give them this mode and Sony didn't, and Sony was the only company that didn't allow crossplay, wouldn't that make them look bad? I don't think Activision needed to. I understand the player base, the install base on Sony, obviously, 100 million players. If they came out and said, "Hey, listen, we wanted to do crossplay, cross saves, we want to do everything," but Sony just wasn't on board. So that's why I think I understand your point, but maybe I think Sony did pay a little for this, just to
I mean, it's Sony. That's what they do, right? That's what Sony does.
They could have paid for this. I don't know. No one knows.
Yeah, true.
Ultimately, it comes down to this. Did they have to pay wholesale price for this? They probably paid absolutely low end for this because they had something to bargain with.
Right, they wanted the crossplay.
They wanted the crossplay. So if you want crossplay, we want this DLC. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. Instead of us giving you $700,000 for it, let's sell it on $250, and we'll allow you to play with all our players. Because guess what? All our players playing with everybody else is going to make up all the money. Because guess what? All those people. Some of those people we already know. A lot of people that have PlayStation 4s don't have Xboxes. They don't have PCs. So they're not, unless they're going to go out and buy an Xbox or get a PC that's going to play this game. Those people are just either A, not going to buy the game because of the situation that they can't play with everybody, or B, they're going to look at it like, I got an Xbox, I'll just buy it on Xbox. So Sony's looking at 100 million consoles out there compared to 40 million for Xbox. They're saying the numbers are on our side. So,
you know what's so smart about this move is that you can buy it in PlayStation and you can still play with everybody else.
You sure can still play with everybody else.
Play on this whole thing. Dang.
And still get all the exclusive content and still can take your account and go to somebody else's system and still have everything. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the so-called boycott. You know, Clowns, I know you're back, and I want to go right to you on this one because you actually brought this to my attention. Apparently, this boycott is a real thing. Now, I know that some people believe that, big deal, boycotts, whatever. But what are your thoughts on the exclusive deal that lasts an entire year, and more specifically, what are your concerns for a pay to win hitting the new Modern Warfare?
Well, I think that the survival being locked for a year is terrible. So from what I understand, I know that Special Ops is like its own thing, but the survival mode is locked for a whole year. So that would be equivalent to like Gears of War Horde mode.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
And that kind of bothers me because I have friends on PC and PlayStation that would probably play that crossplay with me. So I'm very disappointed. I think it's anti-consumer. I think it's disgusting. And, the tip of the iceberg here is that Sony doesn't even need that as an exclusive because they already have the market install base. So it's like kind of like a middle finger to Xbox saying, we're just going to keep them over here anyway. It's not like a lot of people would have switched, but it would have been nice as Xbox players that we had 100% of the game for, whatever we spend on it.
See too, Clowns.
No, I mean that makes a lot of sense. And what are your thoughts on the apparently leaked possible microtransactions that could break the game in regards to spending real world money on virtual guns?
I've heard mixed things because Assassin really follows us very closely. He's a huge Call of Duty fan. So from what he understands so far, unless there's newer information that popped up recently, is that a lot of these will be like calling cards, will be like different camouflages for your gun. He did say that there's one weapon that would be locked behind microtransactions. I think it was like a crossbow.
It's the crossbow. It's the first one in the loop that they're releasing. Yes.
And he said that the way he explained that, it sounds terrible because I think it was OP. It's an overpowered weapon. It's just, unfortunately, people are going to keep spending money on this, and they're just going to keep doing it. Unless there's any real repercussions from the industry itself, and they're like, hey, stop doing this kind of stuff, or there's some type of real crackdown on it with regulations, which, I wouldn't want it to go that far. I wouldn't want the regulations to take away the creative ability of developers, but this greed has to stop at some point. We used to be able to spend $60 and get 100% of the game and then earn all that kind of stuff inside the game by playing. And now it's locked behind paywalls. Even if, let's say in 8 months from now that it's released inside the game, but the people that paid for it first had it for 8 months, that's still an unfair advantage. It's just it's terrible.
No, I absolutely agree. And before I get to Tempestsun, I have to thank two people. First of all, the Board Game Renegade with the outstanding $2 super chat. He says game development is expensive now. Microtransactions are needed. Yeah, and I agree. Listen, I'll be the first one to tell you that I bought the Pegasus horse for in Assassin's Creed. I'm not ashamed to say I spent $20 on one of their gold packs or whatever it was to buy some outfits and stuff. I'm okay with cosmetics. Like, cosmetics are not a problem. Marvel's Avengers, that we might get a chance to get to later on, is going to have this. And you know what? Because I'm such a Marvel freak, maybe I want the 1940s Captain America outfit. Maybe I want the one from Infinity War. Maybe I want the one from Endgame. If it's there, I'm going to buy it. If I can earn it, obviously I'll earn it, not buy it. But if I want it right away, I'll buy it. But Dream Eater drops a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the generosity. He says, jumping in to say hi, saying thanks for always doing these shows. Gives me something new to look forward to every week. Yet again, another great panel. Well, Dream Eater, thank you so much, dude. First of all, thank you for the generosity, but more specifically, thank you for the compliment. I really do enjoy putting this content, writing all of these shows, and it really makes me happy as a content creator that people are enjoying it. But I want to get Tempestsun's final opinion on this talk before we move on to the next one. First of all, what are your thoughts on the exclusive year for this particular mode? Again, I want people to understand, if I spend $65.01 on the Xbox version and you spend $65.01 on the PlayStation version, you're getting the better version. And I still think that's wrong, but what do you think about that? And more specifically, what are your thoughts on the possibility of weapons hidden behind a paywall?
I don't think that's a possibility. I think that's going to happen. This is Activision's MO. It doesn't matter if they have 3 studios, or they did have making these COD games, and every single studio, some of them haven't been as egregious because they had the salvage mechanic where you could eventually make these alternate guns or these guns in these loot crates, but there was absolutely guns hidden behind the loot crates, and it's ridiculous. I mean, that should never be the case. I mean, there's tons of documented cases of people spending anywhere from $300 to $1,000 on loot crates and not getting these weapons. It's obscene. And there's some people that do it. I mean, if they have all the money in the world to spend on that stuff, I guess more power to them, but they're the reason why this crap keeps happening, honestly. The game mode, that guy's statement, I don't know whose statement it was, but his statement was so ridiculous.
It was one of the creative directors.
Okay, this creative director, he's lying. I'm sorry. 1%, even if it was 1%, I don't think Sony is innocent in any of this. But I'd feel bad for Sony if you backed up a dump truck full of money to freaking Activision, and it's 1% of the game is that they're getting exclusive. I mean, I feel bad for them. That's terrible. So if it's really that minuscule, I don't believe it for a second. I mean, they advertised it at the end of their trailer, so it has to mean something to them.
Yeah, it can't be. It can't
it's
be 1%.
It's not 1%. And I tell you what, I mean, I want to preface everything I'm about to say, and I really, truly do mean this. If you had fun with the beta, honest to goodness, more power to you. I'm extremely happy for you because I don't think it's going to change much by the time it launches. But I've been playing shooters since the first Doom on PC, since Unreal, since Quake. I played the first Medal of Honor on PlayStation. I play shooters. This is one of my main things. I love shooters. And I tell you what, the fundamentals are so terrible in this game, at least from the beta. They deserve all the scrutiny they could possibly get. There's a guy on YouTube. He is the go-to if you want to know how a game performs on the netcode side of things. His YouTube channel is Battle Nonsense. He breaks everything down with statistics and facts. And I tell you what, everything wrong I felt on the beta, he explained it all. Like, some of the modes run at 62 hertz, which is good, which is very acceptable for a shooter, but there's a tremendous amount of delay. So you add extremely bad netcode, the worst spawns I've ever seen in a shooter, ever. I mean, ever. You completely broken mechanics in the most fun mode they have, which is the Battlegrounds mode. They took 2 steps forward, and then they just stumbled down the stairs. Like, they hardcore fell down the stairs and like broke every body. I'm sorry. It's terrible. It played like a turd. The gun mechanics, okay, that's great. That's one of the steps forward that they made. The graphics, the sound, I admit that. And you know what? You're going to get a killer campaign. So if you play Call of Duty for the campaign, that's going to be spot on. And that's probably why they brought the talent from Respawn back to kind of reform Infinity War. But you got to have the basics down. You can't have a multiplayer that just plays terribly. People are going to get so sick of being shot in the back as soon as they spawn. They're going to get sick of it. It's going to wear on their nerves eventually.
I'm just going to stop playing.
Yeah, they're going to stop playing. If you add in this crap with the loot boxes, you know what? I agree with, I forget who sent the super chat in, but I agree, man. I'm totally cool with microtransactions as long as they don't make a game pay to win. Because I've dealt with that before. Unlike Colt, like he's never actually had a game ruined with him. I play MMOs and stuff like that, and I've had games ruined by microtransactions and pay to win. It's awful. But if it's cosmetic, I don't care what it is, really. I mean, can the pricing be stupid? It doesn't really bother me if it's just cosmetic. The problem with these COD games is it's never just cosmetic. They are going to release these guns, and some of these guns, some of them aren't very good. Like there's a few of them in Black Ops 4. I played with them, at least a few of them. Some of them aren't very good, but some of them are incredible. And I tell you what, if you don't spend any money on this game and somebody's using a DLC weapon, and almost every gun one-shots you in this game, it's ridiculous. But if somebody extra one-shots you, let's say, and you feel like being oppressed by this DLC gun that you don't have, you're going to feel like, wow, I need to spend this weapon, or you're just not going to want to play it anymore. So I'm sick and tired of it. I expect better from this company that releases this game annually, and they always have the same problems. And I'm tired of it. I've never done to say it. I actually pre-ordered this game to, one, play the beta, and two, I pre-ordered it because I have friends that love it. Me and a few of my friends legitimately canceled our pre-order, and it's staying canceled until I find out they fix all. So
that's a great point. Great way to close out this particular topic. And listen, it's going to be what it's going to be. You know, I think everyone has heard this phrase before. Vote with your wallet, folks. If this pisses you off, if you are a Call of Duty player that legitimately plays every year for the multiplayer, and you're an Xbox player, you're a PC player, vote with your wallet. Let Activision know that this is unacceptable practices, and we'll see if the mainstream media reports on exactly how much. In the next coming weeks, how many pre-orders were actually canceled, because they're going to run with this story. But I want to go on to the next topic. Project Xcloud, the first public trial, hits Android services in October, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm stoked. For the Xbox community to experience it, because Colt Eastwood, who I actually put this story in because he was going to be here, had an opportunity to play it along with myself and several people from the Iron Lords, and we were all blown away. Now, I'm going to say this. Microsoft's game streaming service, known as Project Xcloud, is going to enter public domain for the first time in October. And players in the United States, United Kingdom, and South Korea will be able to enjoy AAA titles on their smartphones, tablets, and other screen-based devices. Now, I'm going to say this. As big as this is for the Americas, as big as this is for the UK, it's the Korean market that has my interest piqued. And the reason why that is because the Asian market has been a huge disappointment for the Xbox brand for years. And because places like Korea, China, and Japan have become a very mobile market, there's a real good chance that Microsoft could somehow retain some market share in other places and other domains that have been ruled by both Sony and Nintendo. Now, here is what Microsoft had to say on the matter. We're excited about partnering with Android partners in the early phases of our public preview, and are working closely with others in the industry to bring the game streaming to a wide variety of devices with a screen and internet connection. This comes from a spokesperson from Microsoft Microsoft, they said, we'll have more to share about bringing Project xCloud to other platforms at a later date. Now, Colt, like I was saying in the opening of this topic, you actually got a chance at E3 to hold a controller in your hand. What were your experiences with Project xCloud, and are you excited to see Microsoft release this to the public?
Yes. The best part about that moment was I talked to Bill Stillwell, who is heading up the xCloud project. And he talked to me while I was trying it out, and he is super excited. These people are really confident about xCloud, and they were excited for people in FanFest and then the next day E3 attendees to get their hands on it. So what I did was I grabbed a controller and the phone connected to it with Forza Horizon 4 because I played that game more than most any Xbox exclusive. And I was kind of doing this. There was these people are really incredulous of new technology, and they are stuck in this ideal that on live 10 years ago didn't work. PlayStation Now doesn't work, but this is new tech. This is current tech. And I was trying to test the latency to see if it was hard to control the car. I didn't have a problem. So I drove this car around while I talked to Bill Stillwell about xCloud, and I really enjoyed it. I just put out a video a couple days ago where I talked about my experience and also outlined everything you need to know about xCloud. So check it out if you get a chance. And I watched somebody next to me play Halo 5 at 60 frames on a phone screen with an Xbox controller. And this is not something that I don't know how often we'll use it. I don't know how often I'll use it, but I am so excited. If I get picked, I can't wait just to try it out so I can tell the audience firsthand how it feels. Because I think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like the service is going to launch with 4 games: Halo 5 Guardians, Gears 5, unbelievably shocked by that, Killer Instinct, and Sea of Thieves, and these are all be available for free during the preview. Now, I'm going to say this: I'm right there with you, Colt. If I'm lucky enough to get picked, I'm going to be doing probably some daily videos, you know, of me using it. Because like I said, I agree with you, Colt. I don't necessarily know if it's something that I'm going to, let's say, use every day, but I am going to say this. You know, in the afternoons when I leave to go get my wife from work, because we only own one car. There are times where I get there early, and in the last week or so, you know, it was my birthday last week, and I got a lot of Switch stuff. And I've been playing Zelda Link's Awakening like a crack fiend. I mean, it is, oh my God, it's so addicting. It is so much fun. It is unbelievable. And the old commercial where I'm sitting home, you know, the chores are done. I'm kind of just waiting for the time. I'm playing on my on the screen, you know, on my big TV, and I look at the time like, okay, I got to get, you know, got to beat traffic, and I just walk over and I pop it out and I just go, just like in the commercials. And to know that I could do that is amazing. But what's has me as a fan, as just not just an Xbox fan, but as a gamer, to know that I could at any point bring my Xbox One controller, have the device to hold the phone attached to it, sit in the car and play whatever I was just playing on the Xbox, seems almost as if it's magic. I mean, would you agree with that, Colt?
Yeah, I mean, that's, people don't get it. I put these detailed videos about what xCloud is going to be, and then I hear people say, I just like owning my games. I'm like, I told somebody in my comments today, it was like this afternoon, a guy said, I just like owning my games. I said, did you not hear me? Like I said, and like I'm very pointed, you will play the games you bought and the games you're going to buy on xCloud, as long as they're all approved, you know, for xCloud. Like there's rumor that there's 25 games that are ready for xCloud, 4 for the preview, and I think that's just going to start building as they go along. I think it's going to be a lengthy 1 year. I bet you it's going to be a 12-month preview program where they let people try out, and they're going to roll people in and add more people and try not to get the service to buckle and just test it and make sure everything's working. They want us to try game streaming. They want us to try the Xcloud Azure, where you load your game up from without using your console. It's amazing. And one of the cool things about this, like, you know, you could pick up your game where you left off if you're playing something like Borderlands and you can't get it off your mind while you're at work, so you load it up for 20 or 30 minutes on your lunch break. Like, that can really scratch an itch. But think about this, like Jedi Fallen Order, it comes out like that night, and you normally would go home and start the download or download the game early and wait for it to install, and you can play it. With Xcloud, if a game is on Xcloud, you could go home, launch the Xcloud app on your phone, and play the game immediately while it's downloading somewhere else on your console, which is really amazing because the games are already installed. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't understand, we're not ready for, because we're so boxed in with what we think the gaming experience is on a console or on a PC, and people fight tooth and nail to keep people from enjoying a service like this because they don't understand where it's going. 10 years ago, On Live was running on, everybody had DSL and dial-up in 2008. I know I did. We had just gotten DSL way back then, and it was hooked to my computer. If I wanted to hook my 360 to the internet, I ran an Ethernet cable across the room and unplugged the phone line and plugged it into the box. That was 10 years ago. Think what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years from how much internet has advanced. Our download and our up speeds are always increasing. The infrastructure is building and getting better. They're talking about fiber. They're talking about 5G. It's not going to stay the way it was in 2008 forever.
No, I mean, that's a great point, Colt. And I think that, you know, if you are a fan of tech, if you're a legitimate fan of tech, you have to move out of the ideology that it's just a person sitting in front of their screen with the box underneath the TV. Now, I'm not saying I want that to go away. I'm always going to buy the traditional console, but what do we always say? What do you always say? Options are best for gamers, right? I mean,
options are good.
Yeah, there it is. Options are good. There it is. I hear it on RDX all the time. Well, listen, Colt, that was. You got
to remember, Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg and these executives from Microsoft they've said it a million times. They have to beat it over people's heads. Xcloud is not a replacement. There will always be local hardware.
Thank you.
Local hardware will always be the best place to play. What we're trying to do with Play Anywhere and Xcloud, I'm just kind of paraphrasing them, what they're trying to do is give us more ways to play the games we bought. Phil Spencer believes that when you buy a game, you should be able to play it wherever you want.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you can't buy an Xbox game, or you can't buy like The Division 2 and load it up on a PlayStation if you bought it on an Xbox. But they're really changing those boundaries, and it's for the better, and people need to get out of this hive mind mob mentality that your stuff needs to be locked to one plastic box. That is going away. And even PlayStation, even Shawn Layden said it, your gaming is not your hideaway. It's a gateway to other people and other places to play.
That's a great point. You know what? I see the Chaz exploding. Yes, Shawn Layden has left PlayStation, and yes, we will be addressing it right after this topic. I think there's going to be some real repercussions. I happen to really not only respect Shawn Layden, I really liked him as a person and the way he was passionate about the fan base. Like, he really cared about the Sony players, and I love that about him. But I want to continue this subject, and we will I promise everyone we will address that very soon. Clowns, I want to go to you on this one. Xcloud is going to be a big deal, not just for the current Xbox community. You see, it's not just that. You see, as much as Phil Spencer wants to give, like Colt was saying, their fan base, you know, the ability to play anywhere they want to reach that 2 billion gamer mark. And the way that they can do that, especially outside of the UK, outside of the Americas, especially in the Asian communities, where in those countries, Xbox is non-existent. But as we know, PlayStation has also been hurt by sales regarding the console because they're not a console generation anymore. This isn't 10, 15, 20 years ago where consoles reigned supreme. The mobile market is huge there. And even though Microsoft does not have a foothold in these territories yet, they could with this technology. What are your expectations for Xcloud?
I've been saying this for a long time, actually a few years now, but I think that Xcloud, the whole idea of game streaming in general, is going to reach a lot more people. They just needed the tech to get where they wanted it for it to happen. And I think we're on the verge of a huge technical breakthrough with 5G coming out very shortly. And as well, I think that there's a lot of continents out there that, people don't have access to maybe going to the store or buying a console. They don't have access to bringing a console home, or maybe they don't live in an area where they feel safe with their devices like that. So having it on a mobile phone that you can carry with you is huge for a lot of people in areas where there's not a major market. They can play on the go. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, the coverage might not be good, but if they can get 4G, it's still going to run okay. I mean, it's not going to be terrible. And they're still going to be able to enjoy something that they haven't experienced before. So I think, looking forward, Microsoft sees the future and they see the massive potential to reach so many more people than traditional consoles with Xcloud. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be grateful to be able to play franchises like Halo,
yes,
or Gears or Sea of Thieves in places where they can't just go to the store and pick up an Xbox One. I mean, there's such a huge benefit for people and Microsoft there. So I think they're doing the right thing and marketing it properly.
Yeah, no, it's really great points. Really, really great points. Cybernox, I want to go to you on this. As we know, the Xcloud preview, you're going to need a phone or a tablet running Android 6.0 or better with Bluetooth 4.0, plus a wireless Bluetooth-enabled Xbox One gamepad. And that's pretty much it. Now, we don't know cost, right? The speculation at this point is that it's going to be baked into the Ultimate Game Pass, and it makes sense. But as a gamer, not a specific gamer, but as a gamer, which everyone should really put that stake in the sand first. You're a gamer first. At the end of the day, regardless of what flag you fly, are you excited to see Microsoft launch this? And is it something that you would potentially use when you weren't in front of your TV?
Oh, 100%. I cannot wait for Xcloud. It's a game changer in my opinion. I was excited for it when they first announced. I'm jealous that Cole, everyone that went, the Iron Lords, everybody that played it. I'm jealous that I didn't get to experience it. But hopefully now with the public sort of closed beta coming out, hopefully I'll get chosen and get to experience that for myself. But I'm a big fan of how technology evolves, how gaming has evolved. Gaming is so different than what a lot of people are used to playing 10, 20 years ago. So as technology evolves and allows us to play our favorite games, look at the lineup that's coming on this October beta. If you get chosen, you're talking about, look at the quality. You're talking about Halo 5,
which I got to play, and it ran so good.
It just came out. You have Sea of Thieves in there too, I believe. Killer Instinct, and I think Forza 4 too, right? Forza Horizon. I think
no. I think
I wasn't sure.
Right? No, the first 4 games. Now they could have added something that I didn't. That maybe I missed. It's Halo Guardians, Gears 5, Killer Instinct, and Sea of Thieves.
Now here's the weird thing. Killer Instinct. That is the non streaming game that you want to play on streaming because its latency is the big requirement there. And the fact that they want you to play something like Killer Instinct,
cool.
Bill Stillwell said that shows that they want to test Xcloud as hard as they possibly can, and this preview program to make sure that it's going to work and that people are going to be able to do what they want to do on xCloud.
Right,
So that's shown a ton of confidence.
These games that they're putting out there, it's obviously their first party, the quality games, and all multiplayer games. You're going to be able to play
that's another
this.
great point. Smart.
You're going to be able to test this. You're going to be able to play with other individuals who are also testing xCloud. It's amazing. Like, I'm definitely gonna take use of this. Like, everybody always has their downtime, whether you have a break at work, maybe you have some downtime at work, maybe you just take out your controller, boom, and start playing. Like, as long as you have a device that they'll be compatible with xCloud. Cole alluded to this earlier. Nothing is ever going to take away your console, right? That experience, your home, you're in front of your TV. Nothing's going to take that experience away. But get to the experience on the go. I mean, you can't pass on it. It's an amazing. I can't wait for it to be here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said, I don't necessarily know who's gonna be picked, how they're picking it. Is it gamer score? Well, mine's 260,000, so they better pick me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know who's actually gonna get picked.
I'm about to hit 100K. So come on.
It's gonna be. I'm very excited. I want to go to Gaming Forte. Because obviously, you see the handheld market. You're in the business, right? You see how well the Switch sells because it's portable. Obviously, the Game Boy 3DS reigned supreme for so many years. Heck, I mean, I even had the original Game Boy in '89. And I loved it. What are your expectations? But more importantly, how stoked are you to be able to play your Xbox games on the go with a controller and a phone?
Yeah, man, I'm glad I didn't get rid of my Galaxy Tab 4 because it's not coming to iOS right out of the box, so only on Android. So good thing I kept that around, which I didn't think I was going to have to do. But, man, it's really good. I think overall, some people are complaining that it's only 4 games. I mean, it is only a public beta. I mean, we don't know.
It's a preview, folks. Take it easy.
Yeah, it's a preview. We don't know exactly. People are jumping down the throat of Microsoft about something that they don't even know the full picture on. And I just think that overall it's an option, and that option is always a good thing. Now, when it comes to the service itself, I didn't go to E3, so I didn't get a chance to play it or anything, but I listen to people that I trust and I watch gameplay of people play it on over their shoulder on phones and didn't see any type of latency or input lag or anything, and pretty much that's been consistent across a lot of people that's played the game. So overall, it just seems like a really good move for Microsoft, because I always champion them for the last few months for what they've been doing. People say Microsoft is basically stepping away from just the Xbox brand in general. I'm saying Microsoft is basically becoming who Microsoft always has been and what they should have been from the very beginning. A service type company. Everything that Microsoft is built on is about services.
Yep.
Why not make the Xbox division part of that service culture? Because they're still going to make the hardware. The hardware is still going to be the pre-developer place for you to play the games. But why not dig deep into the things you do well when it comes to the cloud services, cloud computing, being able to have all these different server farms all over the world where you can touch as many gamers as you want with the Azure cloud network? Why not take advantage of that? And if you got people that are willing to plop down whatever amount of money it's going to cost, or if you got Game Pass Ultimate and it's tied into that just like it is for PC, that's a win-win. Who we don't know. All the games you have in Game Pass could be part of this service. All we know, we don't know anything yet. So anybody to poo-poo it before they find out exactly what you're getting is foolish, because
actually I agree 100%. It's dumb.
Yeah. You don't even know what's in it yet. So, it's like, what's inside the box? Nothing. Nothing's in the box.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Don't know. It's nothing in the box.
I still think it was his wife's head, but you know what? That's not.
Right,
that's
exactly.
Whatever. That's a podcast for another time.
It's 4 games that people don't even have to pay for. They're free, and you get a chance to try them as much as you want during that demo, that trial, open beta period. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, happy I still got the tablet, because if I didn't, I would have been going out to get something, because ain't no telling how long Apple gonna take to get certification up to let you play on that thing. But
well, you know what? It's funny you should say that, because I have heard from from some behind the scenes folks that I know that they are working with to bring it to iOS. That market is not going to be denied. They are Microsoft, even though it's Microsoft and it's Apple, it's still an app, and I believe that they are working together to bring that out. Now,
Xcloud would be on PS4 if they could put it on it. They don't care where it's at. That's the biggest thing, and especially with this partnership that T-Mobile and Nintendo has for the Switch, where they might come out with a version of the Switch that has LTE or 5G in it.
Yep.
And that if that goes through, that's the sky's the limit. They could put that right on the Switch and be able to play games not natively, but stream games.
Stream to them,
to the system. And that's a huge market for Microsoft to get in. So trust me, 2 billion gamers, a lot of people laugh at that. I don't think they'll hit 2 billion exactly because 2 billion people don't play all the type of games that we play. But it wouldn't be hard for me to think that they can get close to at least 3/4 of that, or at least halfway.
At least halfway for sure.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I think to that point, Forte, we live in a society, we live on a fortunate society where we're able to, grab the console that we want, or if we want to have multiple consoles, we can. There's a lot of people all over the world, everybody's different. So there's a lot of people over there that can't afford a console, but they do have a phone. They have this, they have that. So when they say this 2 billion gamers, it may seem a little bit extreme, but I'm sure they're thinking about everyone. And when they say that, all the gamers all over the world, and people have difficulties, some people have more ease on getting things. So it just helps everyone experience games to the level of fidelity that everybody should be able to play these games at. And Xcloud might be the right way to do it.
No, I absolutely agree. And Tempestsun, I'd like you to kind of close out this particular topic before we get into the late breaking news that happened only 20 minutes before the show started. It's the Xcloud, and the reason why I kind of want to just go on to you about this, besides being the last panel member to talk about this, is you're a guy on the go, right? You're constantly out in the field working, and you are when I folks, if you don't know, you want to talk about die-hard gamer. This guy goes in strong, but it's not just him. His wife is as passionate about gaming as he is, which is amazing. How does the ability to pick up a game, even if it's only for 15 or 20 minutes here or there, while you have a little downtime, while you're in the field, does that excite you as a gamer?
Oh, gosh. Unbelievably so. I am so excited.
What are your thoughts on Xcloud?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I can't wait for it. And the reason why is in intro. You say it's the MMO life for me.
Right.
That is so true. I mean, I love all types of games, but you put a MMO in front of me, a good one, that's where I'm at. I'm sinking my teeth in and I'm biting down hard. But the thing about those games, and it's not solely those games, why I'm excited for Xcloud, everybody seems to think of it as tablet with a clip on it and a controller. Everybody thinks it's this thing where you're going to sit down and actually dedicate a decent amount of time to playing with a controller. I don't think that's it. For my case, with like MMOs in particular, anything that has an economy or a player-driven economy, anything like that, like in MMOs, and there are more of them on console now than there ever has been, doing things like bidding on something on an auction house, a marketplace, or if you don't play MMO, take looter shooters or MMO lights. Do you know how much time you really spend tweaking your builds in what's the game? Ubisoft's game. That's like Destiny, or Destiny is a good example too. With the tower, you'll spend 30, 45 minutes in the tower decrypting engrams, doing this. What's the other game? Help me out, Boom. I like the game. Do you like
Division.
the game? The Division. Thank you. Yeah. All the time spent tweaking your build, looking at the numbers. I mean, you could be doing that while you're anywhere. And that kind of stuff, that doesn't even require a controller. I mean, they're going to be making like a universal touchscreen type of controls for a phone or tablet. So there's a lot of things you can do that don't even require a controller, or not every game requires a controller. Let's say you really love Telltale's the Borderlands, which is my favorite Telltale game. If I just feel like playing that, I could be sitting in the couch on John. I could be anywhere. Those games don't require any form of intense controls, so just the fact that I could pull that thing, my phone out, and I have an Android, thank goodness. I could pull that thing out anywhere, do my MMO gaming, or I could tweak my builds. Like there's so many people, they're like, man, it's this game, I just can't get it out of my head. When I get home, I want to try this, when I try that. Well, I got news for you. If you're on a lunch break, if you want to try doing a fire build in the Division, well, guess what? You could tweak it, do all the changes, buy your equipment, change your equipment, whatever you want to do. When you get home, ready to go, bam. And there is what everybody else is saying. You can put a control to this or to this device or that device, and you can start playing. I hear that the latency is good enough that you can play it like you're in front of a TV. So I don't know. I'm extremely excited, especially for my kind of genre of game I really like playing. I absolutely can't wait. I am on the all day long, and 100% of the time I'm not doing things. I might have times where I'm just sitting there in my car waiting for a customer to show up or something, and I'll be able to play.
It's pretty amazing.
And at the end of the day, it is an option. Okay, it's just an added feature if you're in the Xbox ecosystem. So.
Well, listen, that's a great point, and I'm glad you talked about the fact that you are a worker on the go, and and how it would actually be amazing to use. But this was a great topic. I'm glad everyone had a chance to talk about it. I want to get into the breaking news. Obviously, it's been in the chat for the last 30 minutes. Shawn Layden, who obviously was the Worldwide Studios chairman, has left PlayStation. And I gotta be honest with you folks, I am completely blown away. Now, I have said this publicly. I don't know Shawn Layden, but if there was one dude that I can go and shake his hand and say, thank you for everything you've done for the PlayStation brand, it would be Shawn Layden. I really think that he is an amazing person. He's an amazing personality, and I really dug what he stood for. He stood for quality. He held people accountable, and I'm going to get to Colt Eastwood, because Colt, you had a lot of stuff to say about the way he handles the content and how he holds people accountable. We're going to get into that in a second. I want to read the tweet directly from the official PlayStation Twitter account. It says this: "It is with great emotion that we announce that the Worldwide Studios chairman Shawn Layden will be departing Sony. His visionary leadership will be greatly missed. We wish him success in the future endeavors and are deeply grateful for his years of service. Thanks for everything, Shawn." Now, I'm going to go to Colt, our guest, and I want to get your opinion. First of all, what were your thoughts and opinions on how Shawn Layden handled the PlayStation business, and do you think that the company itself is going to be hurt by his departure?
Yeah, because I think that Shawn Layden, we don't know exactly what influence Shawn Layden had on the PlayStation generation for PlayStation 4, but I could tell you it seems to me like Shawn was all about quality control, having the PlayStation mark of approval on their first-party games. And I watched him speak at the E3s on the streams, like I could tell that he is in touch with what Sony needs to be doing, and he's been leading them very well. So I don't know where he's going, but wherever Shawn Layden is going, he's going to be taking that leadership with him, and they're going to be lucky to have him. So yeah, it's too bad. Jim Ryan took his spot as president in, I think it was February, and the PlayStation community wasn't super excited about Jim Ryan taking over because Shawn had done some really great things, but stuff is already in place for PlayStation, so they're in a good spot, and I don't know where he's going.
Well, listen, I'm going to say this. He is going to be missed. And, pre-game, I kind of just want to reiterate on something. Colt, you and I were talking about sometimes when it comes to Microsoft's first-party games, there's not that there's a lack of quality, but there is a lack of someone being behind them pushing the envelope. And it's something that Shawn did. When you talk about quality control, putting the seal, like you said, of approval on their first party stuff, I think that's why, again, it's the teams themselves making the quality code, but at the same time, do you think that it was his driving force to want to be the best that and put the best foot forward is why the games turned out the way they did?
No, I mean, Andrew House and with Mark Cerny with the technology part of what the PlayStation could do, and they've had really great leadership, and that's never wavered. They've always PlayStation's at the top of the market, and it's been that way since '95, I think, when they came out with the PlayStation. So yeah, they're in a good place, and yeah, they're going to be upset losing him. Like I said, they've got things set up, and they're going to have somebody else that's going to head studios. I don't know who it's going to be, but their leadership has always been on point.
Yeah, usually when someone steps down, someone does, when the head, like the old saying, you cut off the Hydra's head and something's going to grow back. It's usually just as good as the one that was there. So we're going to see. Clowns, I want to go to you because you are really, you get your hands in the business because obviously you run an amazing 4 Guys with Quarters, and, you're constantly marketing and working within the business. In your opinion, how does this hurt Sony? And do you think that Shawn Layden, is going to be missed at PlayStation?
Well, I certainly do. I think that Shawn Layden was looked at as a stable figure for PlayStation. And even when they had minimized his former department, they found this new position for him to oversee. So it's kind of like startling a lot of people. And the real thing what's happening here is that it's a shock that was so sudden. Who does this on a Monday night, right before this podcast goes off, maybe 30 to 45 minutes? Who announces a departure like that? I mean, who at the company at Sony just announced that departure all of a sudden? When Reggie left Nintendo, it was advance notice.
It was a couple of weeks that he announced on he did an official letterhead, and then he announced on Twitter his departure. So it was weeks before.
Yep. So I think that this should surprise people, and this should be a shock. The question is, what is Shawn Layden going to do now? Where is he going? And what caused this departure?
It's funny you should ask those questions because 2 really good people of the community, Free Jack, and also I have to thank Delilah HD. Darling, thanks so much for being here. It's great to see you in the chat. Free Jack says, wouldn't it be awesome if obviously Shawn Layden went to Xbox Game Studios? And of course, Delilah HD replies, that would be awesome. Now, that's my question to Cybernox, who I'm going to go to next. Obviously, Shawn Layden knows the business. And Microsoft, listen, they've been getting talent from pretty much everywhere in the last 12 months. And adding a Shawn Layden, I'm not saying, folks, this is just an opinion. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but he's a big grab, he's a big name, and he does come with some quality attached to his name about being passionate when it comes to gaming. First of all, what are your thoughts on him leaving Sony, and what are your thoughts on him becoming and possibly working for Microsoft?
Well, pre-game when I came on, he told me this, and I was absolutely shocked because I had not heard the news at all. I mean, I cannot believe, kind of like what you guys mentioned a little bit ago when Reggie left. They had a little promo video set up. They kind of, they did everything already. Everybody knew that he was leaving. This just seems like it was out of the blue, spontaneous, and he's always been great with leaders. Jack Trenton, I believe was his name, was here before him. You know, so Shawn Layden took the torch, and you can see that quality has never been something that Sony's been lacking. So whoever takes on as the leader of Sony from now on. I'm sure they'll be okay. But I even joked that, on the chat. I said maybe he's going to Google Stadia. You know, they're hiring too. They're looking to, extend their platform and get new leaders. I don't see him going to Xbox Game Studios just because where would he fit in? Not because of his passion, not because of just because he was at Sony, just because you have Phil, who's the, and then now you have Matt Booty, who took Phil's job. So where would Shawn Layden fit in?
That's a good question. That's a great point.
I don't know, but it's man. It was a shock to me. I couldn't believe it. He did great things over there. Sony's at a pinnacle point right now. So, and like a lot of people who watch sports and who do a lot of great things, sometimes it's best to leave while you're on top. So maybe
great point. That's a great point.
He felt it was a decision that he needed to do. Yeah. So it's sad to see him go. The quality that Sony has always shown and demonstrated in their games and everything else has always been there. And best of luck, and hopefully he's doing bigger and better things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, listen, he's definitely leaving on top. The PlayStation brand, listen, what could you say? And he has been the guy there each and every E3 or every Sony event, rah-rahing the crowd, getting people excited. I want to go to Gaming Forte. Obviously you came on and you were just as much, you like all of us, were taken aback the fact that this launched on a Monday night, 20 minutes before the show went live. What are your thoughts on what Shawn Layden has done for the PlayStation brand? But more specifically, where do you think he's going to end up next? Oh, I think he's on mute again. All right, you know Forte. What? I'll come back to Forte. He didn't leave a message, so I'm gonna. You heard what I had to say, Tempestsun. What are your thoughts on Shawn Layden and what he has been able to do for the PlayStation brand? But more specifically, where do you see him ending up?
Oh, well, I mean, under his watch, there is 100 million PS4s in rotation.
Yes,
I mean, you got to give the guy credit. There's been many games that have came out while he's been in the driver's seat. So you got to give the guy props. There is absolutely no denying it. This was extremely abrupt. Like Clown said, it's Monday night, guys. And yeah, I don't know what this is about. Generally, these things are laid out with a little bit more like how they announced Reggie. Like, I think when they announced I almost think it was like a good old 2 weeks notice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is very abrupt. I haven't actually looked into it yet because, we've been doing the show, and I don't know if he got fired, if he stepped down, if he retired. I mean, they're very different things between those three. So who knows? I hope everything's all right. Maybe he did step down because he didn't like how things were going, but I mean, he's the president and CEO, right? Like, and doesn't he direct the ship? I mean, I guess he has to answer to people even above him, I suppose.
I believe the next person he would answer to would probably be Yoshida, would be the person that he answered to.
Okay, well, maybe I don't know. It's just pure speculation. Information. Where he ends up, I mean, the guy's got talent. I mean, Cybernox said maybe not going to Xbox Game Studios, but maybe they could use a guy like him. Maybe they could find a spot. He's been there forever in the driver's seat. Maybe he just wants to have a relaxing job with a really nice paycheck. I can't think of any other place better to work than Microsoft. You know what I mean?
That's true.
If from what I understand, Reggie, Shawn, Phil, they're buddies. This whole console war nonsense. I mean, they don't secretly, I don't know, talk bad about each other. They're not enemies.
They're probably having dinner at at someone's house on a regular basis. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no doubt. About it. So they have something very in common. Major video game company. So why?
You might go to lead that new Atari console.
Maybe. Listen, the Atari can come back. I mean,
no, seriously. Delilah HD just said it seems immediate, and usually if he goes to a competitor, it's immediate. But I don't know. That's very interesting.
Hey, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
What happened with Don Matrick? Wasn't it kind of the same thing at the very beginning? The first year of the Xbox One, they said Don Matrick is leaving. He's going to work for Zynga.
Yes, and then he was actually gone, and not even a year after with Zynga. He tried, he basically ruined them too. So
well, I mean, But did he go as immediately as this? Was it an announcement, and he was no longer working for Microsoft? It seemed like it.
That's what it seemed like. They announced his departure, and then and basically in the statement, if I recall correctly, was that he was going to work at Zynga.
I'll put any speculation to rest. I highly doubt that Shawn Layden left for any reasons of negative. Like, PlayStation is at the very peak, the very pinnacle of their entire draw.
Yes,
as a game console, they're about to launch Kojima's Death Stranding and The Last of Us in the spring. And I know they've had so many big ups, like God of War and Spider-Man were massive peaks, but that's just one more step above the huge God of War year with Spider-Man to go into The Last of Us. The PlayStation 4 is selling phenomenally well. There's no reason to think that Shawn Layden had to go for any other reason than he wanted to go. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I don't see any negative thing coming from this other than PlayStation being sad that they're losing him.
Yeah, no. And Forte, I see you're back here, brother. I just want to close out this particular topic. What are your thoughts on Shawn Layden leaving PlayStation, and do you see it having lasting effects on the brand?
No. Because as of right now, the lineup is still stellar.
Right.
The PlayStation 5 is going to sell just off the strength of Spider-Man, Last of Us, and God of War. We all know those games are going to all get sequels before they even happen. So that's in good hands. I think Shawn is just like Jack Trenton. I think Sony is at such a high. Why do you want... What is he, 6? I think he's 58 years old. He's been with the company since 87. So he's 32 years in the company.
Right.
So it might just be the same as Jack Trenton, where Jack said, he was like, I did everything I wanted to do at Sony. I left the PlayStation in good hands pretty much at the very beginning of the generation. The PlayStation 4 launched. It was 2014 when he stepped away. So Shawn's looking at it like, can it get better than this? And I'm getting up there in my seniority, I'm getting up there in age, and I kind of want to do other things. And the PlayStation is going to be fine without him. So I think he just decided that I think I'm just going to ride off to the sunset and see what else is out there for me. Now, if he ends up somewhere else, that could be something else. I mean, I don't know. But I honestly believe it was pretty much his decision, because after you have a year like Sony just had with God of War and and Spider-Man in one calendar year, and now you're about to follow it up with the most anticipated game of the generation in Last of Us, it seems like a lot of games for Sony this generation have been most anticipated. And guess who has been at the helm for pretty much all of those games? Shawn Layden.
Yep.
So I don't think it's anything, like Cole said, I don't think it's anything that he did anything wrong. I don't think he was forced out of anything. I think this was just him telling them. They probably were super shocked when he walked in the office and was like, hey, I'm done. Now we don't know when it's going to be, but guess what? Even with whoever the successor is, when Last of Us releases, whose name's going to be on that? Shawn Layden, because he was the one that was the architect before the game was even released. So he pulled all the strings around that game beforehand. Mm-hmm. So even when The Last of Us launches, whoever the person that's in charge then, Jim Ryan or whoever, they're not going to get the credit for that. It's going to be Shawn Layden. So he's looking at it like, I could get out early and still reap the benefits of what's going to happen over the next calendar year, all the way up to the PlayStation 5, because all of these things were already basically wrote in sand, and are going to be put in stone by the time Shawn Layden is long forgotten. So that's what I think about
You think we'll get an explanation from Shawn Layden why he left? Maybe
it's
might if he does the same thing. I could see at E3 next year if Sony coming back. I guarantee you, Sony will be back at E3 next year just because of the launch of the PlayStation 5.
Yes,
Jack Tretton did that interview with Jeff Keighley the year after he retired.
Yep,
at E3, and he went over the reasons he left. He said it was for no reason. I just did everything I wanted to do with PlayStation, and the fact that he was up there as a PlayStation ambassador, not working for the company, lets you know that he did leave on his own terms. So I expect to see something quite similar to that as they wind down the PS4 and they bring Shawn Layden in, and he asks what his experience over the last 5 years of being the head of Worldwide Studios was.
Delilah HD in the chat says something really nice. It's actually very classy. Make a video announcing your departure, speak to the fans, etc. And you know what? Because it's Shawn Layden, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next day or two, either something on letterhead that he writes out and puts it on Twitter that he posts and everyone could read exactly thanking the fans, or of course it would be great in a video format that he's talking to the camera and say, hey folks, listen, I know a lot of people are taken aback but I've done everything, whatever. It's going to be interesting because he is definitely a fan favorite. But I want to move on to the next topic, and for me personally, it's exciting because I'm a big old Star Wars nerd, and they just released the new Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order trailer that not only showcased the story, which looks amazing, it showcased the villains, and they showed off in photos, of course, Xbox did, the awesome special limited edition Purge Trooper Xbox One controller, and we all know that they have the marketing rights for the game, and that's a big full game. Good on Microsoft for getting those rights. Now the story I pulled from WCCF Tech, and I'm going to say this, it has been one heck of a year if you are a Star Wars fan. Not only do we get Star Wars Episode 9 releasing on December 20th, which I think is going to be really good. It was just announced that Kevin Feige is teaming up with Kathleen Kennedy to co-produce a new film in the long-running franchise that's post Skywalker, storytelling. But Respawn's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is releasing on November 15th. Now, I'm going to say this. I've been super, super stoked for this game because I got a chance at E3, and I don't understand how it even happened, folks, but I applied as press, and they took Double Barrel Gaming seriously, and I was allowed behind closed doors to sit and watch what guys from IGN were playing, because I actually in the same room as me. Dustin Legary was there, so that was a big deal for Double Barrel Gaming. I got a chance to see some behind the scenes stuff that I couldn't talk about at E3, and I was completely blown away with what I saw. Obviously Respawn Entertainment, makers of the outstanding Titanfall 2 single player campaign, is putting this story together, and that has me super, super excited. As we know, EA and Lucasfilms has dropped a new trailer for the new game, which sheds some light on the intriguing story. The Empire apparently is looking to wipe out all traces of the Jedi Order, and the hero of the game is Cal Kestis, is searching for something very precious for the Empire. The trailer doesn't specify exactly what Cal is looking for, but it's something that will help rebuild the Jedi Order, and obviously it's a powerful Jedi relic. Now, of course, I want to go to our guest first, Colt. From what you've seen, not only on the trailer, but the videos that have been released throughout the 2019, are you excited to play the new Star Wars game from Respawn Entertainment?
So descriptive. Yeah. I'm glad you asked me because I had just watched the trailer like 2 days ago. And I don't watch every game trailer. I don't watch a whole lot of gameplay. I always get a quick look and then I'm like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin anything.
I'm one of those guys that just doesn't like to be spoiled even with much gameplay. But it looks really great. Titanfall 2 campaign was really good. This game just looks really cool, and we haven't had a game like this in a long time. You know, kind of like an action adventure. It's got the climbing mechanics with it. It's got the lightsaber combat that we like from Force Unleashed. It just looks really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. It's coming really soon, and I'm trying to finish Borderlands, and then I'm going to be playing Grid and stuff. So yeah, it looks really good.
I am going to say this. They're saying that it's a little Souls-like. Like when you see some of the big bosses, that you can't just run in there and start whacking away. You actually have to use strategy, which actually has me really excited because, you know, while you leveling up your force powers throughout the game, it's going to be important to what you're actually doing and not just, you know, wailing away with the lightsaber. You're actually going to have to use some tactics. Does that excite you about the game more so than just, you know, basically force cutting down anything in your path?
Yeah, because I mean, it looks like they built like a really big story, and I'm predicting that this is going to be better than the last Star Wars movie.
Oh well, okay, all right. I
mean, I am one
Ain't
to
hard.
I'm one to enjoy a really great game more than a really great movie that's over in 2 hours. What was the last Star Wars game or movie?
It was episode 8, and it was terrible.
Episode 8. What was it
No,
called?
wasn't it a Solo movie?
It might have been
I liked Solo a lot. The last
Rogue
one was.
Or are you talking about the Last Jedi?
I like Rogue One. I haven't really liked the Rey.
The new trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah, the last one. What was it called?
Last Jedi.
Oh, it was
The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, there was one part I really loved, but the whole movie I was kind of rolling my eyes. So yeah, I think it's going to be really good. Might be better than the last movie, the last trilogy movie. Yeah.
It will be.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, all I'm going to say is that it is Respawn, and they are a developer that I really like. Obviously, I love Titanfall, the series. I am hoping and praying that we do get a Titanfall 3. Like Colt was reiterated about the single-player campaign being fantastic, and it was. If you skipped out on Titanfall, and if you don't want to play the multiplayer, I hear you, because I played the shit out of 1 and 2. 1 was certainly better, but I am going to say this: you could pick it up super cheap. I think actually it's in the EA Vault if you subscribe to EA Access. Play that single player campaign; you will not be disappointed. It was really, really well done. But Cybernox, I want to go to you because obviously I'm pretty sure you're a Star Wars fan. What are your thoughts on the new trailer? And is this a day one buy for you?
Yeah, man. So I like Star Wars. I've kind of like everybody here. I'm excited for this game, especially after I saw this newest trailer. I think it's called Cal's Mission.
Yes,
this trailer got me more excited than the demo that we saw at E3. You know, I think the E3 demo was kind of a hit or miss for some people. This story trailer, I'm full on board with this game now. You know. I think the story seems to go in a pretty good direction from what I've seen, and kind of what you alluded to as well. The combat there's some strategic to it, so you get the satisfaction of of just not like button smashing kind of.
Yeah.
So this game looks good. I saw the trailer. The trailer looked pretty well done. We saw we saw the main villain, but we didn't see. I think it's gonna be a female antagonist. So, but we didn't see her without the mask. But the whole trailer got me even more hyped than I was before. So yeah, I can't wait for this game. And listen, it's coming from Respawn. Look at their track record. You had Titanfall. First one, amazing multiplayer. Titanfall 2 came with a phenomenal single player. Now they're just mushing this two together and making a great Star Wars game, and we deserve a great Star Wars game. It has been a while.
It has been a while. Yeah, listen, like I said, the last. I mean, obviously, EA has the marketing rights, or the Star Wars rights, not marketing, the Star Wars rights. I believe for another 4 years. I'm hoping that some of their canceled projects, especially like the few ones that like we'll never see Star Wars 1313. I don't think we'll ever see that, but it would be interesting to see what they can do in regards to telling future Star Wars stories. And I really hope this does well and sells well for Respawn, because I really do like Vince, and I think that his team is ultra talented.
And if you watch I just want to make one more point.
Yeah, sure, go ahead, dude.
And if you watch the trailer closely, it seems like there's going to be multiple worlds that you can visit.
Four of them, from what I understand. Yes.
Yeah. There was a section on there. You see it. You see how they're trying to integrate a bunch of different things into there. So it's going to be interesting. It seems like it's going to be a pretty good game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm there day one. I cannot wait for it. I want to go to, of course, Gaming Forte. Now, the trailer that we saw gave some good screen time to Fallen Order's main villain, and I believe she's called the Second Sister, who looks to be like a female Darth Vader type. We also got a chance to see some new enemy types. There's a giant bat-like boss. And then the map, of course, showed off. And again, it showed 4 planets. I don't know if there's going to be more. What were your thoughts on the trailer? But more specifically, are you excited to play this new game from Respawn?
I was excited when I saw that over a month ago.
Okay.
I saw some of that. I'm glad they finally showed it, so I can
now you can talk about it.
I saw it. I can say I saw it. Yeah, I didn't see this. They didn't show us this exact trailer, but it was pieces of it in the trailer that we saw back in August. And when I tell you a room full of store managers going nuts, 5,000 people going nuts.
I love it. That's great.
It was freaking incredible because Vince Capella was there. He was on the stage. He unveiled it. And the trailer they put together was so good. And just seeing the Second Sister, seeing the planets. I was like, oh my God. I said, dude, this game is everything I want. And I'm with Colt. It's going to be better than the last Star Wars movie. That was, I didn't even have to even guess on that. I was like, dude, the story by itself, just the build up for the game feels better than the last 2 Star Wars movies. Now, I don't want to be in hyperbole because we don't know what the next Star Wars movie, it could be great. It could be whatever, but I would not want to have another game take me into the next Star Wars movie other than this one, because this game, just seeing it makes me want to play it, makes me get back into that mode of when I just wanted to be a Jedi, puts me in the thought process of this is why I love Star Wars, not because of the glitz and the glamour, because of the stories, because of the weapons, because of the enemies. Star Wars is the opera, where Star Trek is about, the worlds and stuff. Star Wars is something that I look forward to every 3 years when they release them, no matter what, as much as I am upset about Disney and how their direction has been. This game is everything that I want. And I haven't even got a chance to play it yet. So I'm excited. The trailer did nothing but confirm that even more. And it lets me know that this game is just under 45 days away, and I can't wait.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. And you know what, and obviously, Tempestsun, I want to get your opinion on this, closing out the this particular topic. What excites me is that this is actual Star Wars canon. And it's funny, we talk about a year of Star Wars. The one thing I forgot to mention is Disney Plus and The Mandalorian, which is releasing in November. I think it's right around the same time as this game, and it looks, oh my God, it looks like everything you could possibly want. But the kid that's playing Cal is the same actor that was the Joker in Gotham, if you didn't know. And he's a very, very talented kid. He's a very talented actor. And I think that there's a good chance that we could eventually, if we don't know what's going to happen at the end of the game, we could actually see him in a future film. That really excites me, how everything now moving forward is going to be canon. From the trailer, what were your thoughts on what you saw? And is this a day one pickup for you?
You were talking to me. You kind of cut out.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, brother.
Me? Okay. First of all, I got to fight on this. No way this game is going to be better than The Last Jedi unless there's green milk that you can freshly squeeze from an alien food.
That's great.
Just saying. There's no way. No, but being honest, no, it looks fantastic. Everybody said it. It looks great. Player, Last of Us 2 their game of the year because of prior titles from that studio, or Cyberpunk their game of the year. As far as I'm concerned, Respawn has banged it out through. I love that studio. I've loved all through the two Titanfall and Apex. I mean, different genre, but this is a talented studio. Vince Zampella is a raw, real dude. I mean, listen, it's EA. They force their game engines on everybody. There's a reason why they've been not him. That's my point. Not him. This studio seems like they can do whatever the hell they want, and they wanted to make a Star Wars game, so I say let them make it, and we'll probably enjoy it. So
yeah, no, that's a great point. Well, listen, I'm going to say this. First of all, we had nearly 120 people watching live, and that is a big deal. This show is only the 4th episode of the show, and it's a big deal because this was a tremendous undertaking for me to add an additional show, making it 3 live shows per week that I write for. And you never know how it's going to turn out, and apparently you guys are digging it, and I have to say thank you once again to the chat for being here. You guys are guys and gals are absolutely amazing, and your comments, not only in the chat today, but the comments I'm constantly getting, through DMs and through the messages. It's just been overwhelmingly nice and really, really excites me. Every day I wake up to write new content to put these shows together. Of course, I have to thank my panel. Colt Eastwood, thank you again for agreeing to be on this show. It is a really big deal for me because, like I said, I look up to you and I really enjoy what you do. It was great to meet you in person, you and your family at E3, but more importantly, not that you need little Boomstick's help because your channel is basically exploding, but I still have to promote it. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, listen to you on RDX, and more importantly, subscribe to your outrageously produced YouTube channel.
Well, I got to say that we were in line for FanFest that first morning, and I think you recognized my voice, and then
Yes.
I could hear your voice, and you're like, "Is that Cole? It sounds like Cole Eastwood." And I turn around, and I go, "This sounds like Boom." And it's funny because we've been hearing like these voices of these people that are on podcasts and YouTube channels and stuff, and it's not really real, all right? Because it's just somebody across the internet that you'll never meet in real life, and luckily we were able to do that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you can see me on YouTube at Colt Eastwood and Twitter at Colt Eastwood. And I'm on Xbox Live as much as I can at Colt Eastwood. And just come and support the channel. Watch what I'm doing. I mean, I put as much work as I can. I really want people to enjoy the videos and not fall asleep.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone's falling asleep during your videos, dude. They're really, really well produced, and you can tell that there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into it. The quality is just second to none. You and Dealer, you guys are someone I not only I look up to as a content producer myself, but someone that I want to learn the tricks of the trade from, because you guys do put out great work. But thank you again so much for being here. It was awesome to work with you finally. And of course, I want to continue with the outros, the rest of my amazing and regular panel, which is it's great to work with everyone here. Clowns, I want to go to you, dude. Listen, when I say that I think of you as a brother, I mean that. And when I say that you are one of the community's finest, I absolutely mean that from the bottom of my heart, because you are what the community should be like. You're helping, you're welcoming, and you put out a lot of good content. Please tell everyone where they can check out Four Guys with Quarters, and more importantly, give you a follow on Twitter.
Yeah, thanks, Boom. I appreciate that. Every Monday night, 5 p.m. Eastern is when we try to do the Four Guys with Quarters. I've been busy working on back-end stuff. Just kind of sign a contract with Pandora and send it off and hope we get accepted. So I'm working on a lot of back-end stuff, and more content will be coming once all that is finalized.
Well, listen, it's great to hear that. I mean, you are the wheeler and the dealer of the show. I mean, you definitely are rubbing elbows and getting this show on everything. And we're going to talk privately because I kind of need a little help in that area. But we'll be talking. Thanks again for being here, dude. Cyber Knox, I want to go to you next, dude. First of all, I want to thank you honestly for being here. I think that you are definitely, of course, in that group of community finest. You're here. You have a newborn, a new addition to your family, and you're still here each and every Monday. That is unbelievable dedication, and the gratitude I have for that cannot be said enough. I think that you are someone that people enjoy listening to, and I think more people should subscribe to your channel to find out exactly what you're talking about. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, but more importantly, sub your amazing YouTube channel.
Hey, Boom, I really, really appreciate that. Chat, you guys were amazing as always. A lot of good banter in the chat. That's always fun. You can find me, on YouTube, Twitter, Xbox. It's pretty easy. Cybernox. You can hit me up on Xbox Live if you ever want a game. I'm always playing shooters, multiplayer. I love that genre. Anything multiplayer, I love. My YouTube channel, I finally hit 100 subscribers. Thank you, community. I really, really, really appreciate all of you. And yeah, I'm going to be playing a lot of scary games now in October.
Yes,
okay?
you have
I love
to.
Halloween. So if you want to go and check me out, go on my Twitch or go on my Twitch and Mixer channels. I'll be playing on there. And it's been a pleasure, talking games with Colt Eastwood today. It's pretty amazing. It's a little bit surreal, kind of like what you guys stated to earlier. Just listening to you guys all the time and finally being, here, being a member of the panel. So it's been a pleasure, sir. It was great talking to you. And thanks, chat.
Well, listen, great to have you as always, and I definitely appreciate that. And we're going to go to Nautical Gaming Forte. First of all, dude, I love that you are a part of this weekly program. You bring a lot to the community. You are, in fact, one of the pinnacle members of the Basement Radio Arcade podcast. But on top of that, you do have an outstanding and very opinionated YouTube channel. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, but more importantly, subscribe to your outstanding work.
Well, as always, I have to give all the credit to the people on this panel, because without this panel, this show would not be as great as it is. And the show runner, the Oprah Winfrey of all of YouTube, Mr. BoomStickXL, that's my man's. But like you said, Gaming Forte, that's on YouTube and Twitter. And don't tell your boy Slow Mo Backslap that you said I'm like what I am, because
He has to know.
He'll probably get a little salty and he'll be in my DMs yelling at me about it. So, but yeah, Brat Podcast every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. and then also on Scumcast whenever Luca decides to do do her show. So really can't tell you the times on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, she's what it is, even though she doesn't have a specific time, she is good about letting the community know, because she does put it out there on Twitter. But yeah, dude, it's always great to work with you. Love your insight. Love the fact that you are someone that works with GameStop and give us a different perspective, especially on the business side of gaming. So once again, thanks for being here. And last and certainly in no way least, my very good brother all the way from Florida like clowns, Tempestsun. Listen, it's great to have you on. Having you a part of the show was a big deal for me, because I do love the fact that when you talk about gaming, you can hear it in your voice how passionate you are. It's not someone that's a poser looking to get on the show. That's why I asked you to be a part of this. Tell everyone where they can follow you, but more importantly, if they want to game with you and get assassinated by you in Apex Legends, tell them where they can do that.
Oh, thank you, bro. You made my night. Yeah, but no, seriously, you can me at Twitter at the Tempestsun, and I appreciate you having me on the show once again, man. I truly have a fun time doing this. And to Colt Eastwood, I watch every single one of your videos.
Awesome.
I listen to you every week on RDX, unless you're recovering from some life-threatening disease that dealer says. So I'm glad you weren't. I'm glad you weren't ill tonight to be here, but no, it was awesome being on it. And tell you what, we only have Fonz and D-Batch. We need to get him in.
D-Batch and of course Zolker.
We're taking over RDX.
Yes, and we're working away. Fonz and I've been talking privately, so we're going to get him on the show soon. And I've worked with Zolker, and he's possibly, and we just got to get D-Batch on here, and we'll have made the rounds with the RDX podcast, which is airing tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Dealer's channel. Again, a guy that does not need little boomstick's help, but I will promote someone that not only do I listen to, but I look up to to and respect. I want to thank my panel once again for being here. I want to thank the 120 people watching live. I also want to say thank you for the donations through Super Chat. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies, so much for the support on the Double Barrel Gaming channel. And I'll just close it out with this, folks. Remember, Cole Eastwood is notorious for saying be nice, and I like to say a few things that my dad taught me when I was a kid. First of all, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. I want people to remember that. And secondly, treat people how you want to be treated, and I guarantee you're going to have a good time and a good day worth of gaming. Please enjoy gaming, be safe, enjoy the week, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Prime Time Gaming with Mr. BoomStickXL and friends. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.